What's wrong?
I can't see this tungsten filament.
Maybe you should use the scanning electron microscope.
What's that?
Well, a scanning electron microscope is a high-powered microscope that shoots electron beams at a specimen. Then the electrons bounce off, and the microscope records the signal to produce a 3D image of the object.
Well, what's it for?
The scanning electron microscope is used to see things at the nanoscale, such as carbon nanotubes or graphene. With that boring light microscope, you can't see things that small. Imagine this is the object you're trying to look at. The light waves are just too big. That's why scanning electron microscopes are so cool. You can look at just about anything.
Wow, that is really cool.
Let's go to the clean room and talk to Lupin and Professor Fry.
So, what is the main function of a scanning electron microscope?
The main function of a scanning electron microscope is to actually be able to use electrons to image materials, and you can actually get very high magnification images with that microscope because of the very good resolution that an electron beam provides for you.
Alright, so what are the main parts of a scanning electron microscope?
So basically you have the electron gun, the place where the electrons are generated, and you have the different lenses and apertures within the system. So basically the electrons are being brought into a beam, and then they're being focused to a point on the sample. Okay? And then there's some coils that scan them back and forth that then help you get the images. The other parts would then be the detectors, which actually detect the electrons that are going to form the image. Okay?
How much more magnification does it have over, let's say, a regular light microscope?
Typically, a light optical microscope will top out around 1000x. With the scanning electron microscope, depending on the calibration of the field, you can do upwards of 1,000,000 times in magnification. With a scanning electron microscope, we actually scan the electron beam back and forth across the sample, and through that scanning, we actually get an image of the surface of the material, not an image of what's inside. So like with an optical microscope, you have a thin section. Okay? With an electron microscope, you put in a material, you scan the beam across it, and then you get almost a two-dimensional representation of the surface.
We'll turn on the electron beam. The system will run up now. It's actually going to start to scan the sample. A little spot will appear for a second. That's actually the detector. And now we have an image. Right now the magnification is right around 41x. Okay, so you can get a very low magnification image with the microscope. And then as we zoom up, as we increase the magnification, we can keep going up in magnification. We're at about 2,700, about 4,000x now. And now I'm actually just moving around on the sample, looking for something to take a picture of. Okay, we're at about 23,000x now, and I'm going to just adjust some of the microscope conditions. As you can see, the image is not as sharp or clear as it could be. After a couple more adjustments, you can see the image is a little bit sharper. Now we're at about 35,000 times, 36,000x. And then we can just increasing the magnification, 100,000, 180,000. So you can very easily just get an image of something. What we're actually looking at are small crystals of tungsten that are actually on part of a headlamp filament from a car. So you'd never believe that that was actually, something that was on something so large. So you can actually zoom in. Another really cool thing that we can then do is we can actually tell what elements are present. So I can actually start acquiring an image up here for a spectrum that will actually tell me what materials are actually there, just because of the energy that I'm actually using to acquire that signal. I measure this little space right here. We're looking at about 13 nanometers. So it's actually pretty good resolution.
The scanning electron microscope is a vital tool in modern forensics and is used for the analysis of evidence such as fibers, paint, and fingerprints. The scanning electron microscope also plays a role in biology and has been vital in analyzing the physical characteristics of insects that are far too small to see with the naked eye. But the applications of the scanning electron microscope does not end there. This tool has much potential and can be applied to many other fields of science, helping researchers make new discoveries. Wow, that's really awesome. Why would I ever use a light microscope again?